Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk about Season 13, Episode 7, War of the Worlds.
It is a war of the worlds, but it's not. Like, the worlds don't go to war. I don't know how accurate this title is. Great. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So I went and saw a band called Spanish Love Songs at a new venue called Puzzles, and they were really good. And then I was not as much of a fan of the other band on the bill, but there was a fight, and that was a moment of excitement, even though it was stupid because that's dumb. But anyways, I got to see their
violence is always dumb.
Yes, but either way, so that was exciting. And then we went on the mission to see fireworks because it was 4th of July weekend, and I haven't gotten to see fireworks in several years, partially because of dogs, and that's a whole sad story. But either way, so we decided we were going to go to Double Wide because you should be able to see the fireworks for the downtown Dallas Fair Park fireworks from there. And they were doing them on Friday because of the World Cup stuff. And then we were sitting there, and then I heard booms, and I realized that they were doing them very low or on the other side of the fair park, and you could not see them, but I could hear them, and I was bummed.
Aw.
So, anyways, then on the it was the 4th of July, so we were like, all right, we've got two options for fireworks. We can try to get to downtown Dallas, or we can go south to a suburb and try to go there. And we're like, you know what? Let's just try to go downtown. We'll post up somewhere and be able to see them. Well, they did them from a park in downtown, which means that and also because there was traffic control issues with fireworks last year, they closed like every major road to get into downtown. So you couldn't get there. And then we saw a bunch of people park on the side of the road, like not like in our side of town that we live in, and in Oak Cliff. And we're like, you know what? Maybe these people are onto something. Maybe they know something we don't. We're going to park here too. And I bet you can see them through the buildings. Spoiler, you can't. But what did work out is that there was an empty lot in front. We were on top of a hill. There's an empty lot with like some like old concrete partial structures. And 3 different groups of people had gone and spent a bunch of money at fireworks stands and driven them back into town and set off their own display. And we had a lovely view of fireworks with the whole skyline of Dallas behind us. And it was actually quite fun. And everybody was just like people you don't know. And they're like just bullshitting with random people and sharing beers and chit-chatting.
It was actually illegal.
Yes, all of it.
All of that sounds highly illegal.
Yes, it was. But you know what?
Good times.
You couldn't see anything and you couldn't get to anywhere. So It is what it is. And so we did that. And then we went on Sunday. We went and saw at Fair Park in Dallas. They've got an it's for another week or two, but they've got an exhibit at the Hall of State, which is one of my favorite buildings. It's a really cool, like deco old building. And it's all like there's a bunch of halls dedicated to the regions of Texas. But right now they had on display one of the 26 remaining known copies of the Declaration of Independence that was printed right after it was adopted. Then they had like the journal from the Washington on the Brazos when they wrote the Texas Declaration of Independence and some other stuff like that. So it was kind of a neat, some of Thomas Jefferson's notes writing the Declaration, like from his journals. So it was kind of a cool little historical moment. Plus they have a 336 square foot diorama of the Battle of the Alamo that some guy made.
Everyone loves the diorama because they come alive at night.
Well, exactly.
All dioramas come alive at night.
That's the rule, right?
And do they have the voices on them?
It does not have voices. It's just
that's not a good diorama. It doesn't have any voice. It has to have like a light that comes on and be like Timmy. And
no, but there is a rumor.
This is when Jim Bowie got killed, and Davy Crockett's like, oh no, not no. Oh, sorry.
But apparently, the creator of it, I did hear a rumor, did hide 1 or 2 of figurines of his cat in it. So,
see, that's all I would do. Would be looking for cats.
But
that makes sense. That's now I'm interested in it. See, now I want to look at it.
So no, it was a very and we had some time with family and stuff. So very pool time, all the things. 4th of July weekend, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my outings and fun. How about you?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just getting ready for my aerial performance, which is very exciting. And yesterday, I have these things that are called trapeze boots or aerialist boots. And I don't really know how to describe them. They're kind of look like shin covers, and they cover the top of your feet, and they have little stirrups at the bottom of them, and the back of them lace up like a corset. And so they're cute and they look old timey. You don't really like trapeze people really like can use them to be hanging from their feet and stuff. I don't need them for this performance. I just thought they were cute and I wanted some. So, but I did want to try them out. I needed to try them out for my performance just to make sure to see how if they interfere with anything. And I was planning, I was like, oh, I'll do it at the end of class tomorrow when everybody's gone. Cause usually there's a straps class that's happening at the same time. And I don't want to feel like I'm okay. I was like, I'm okay doing this with people in my class. I just don't want these other people seeing me. And, I get there and I'm like, oh, cool. Like the other class isn't here tonight. So I'm like, cool. So I just go and I put on my fishnets and my tiny shorts and my trapeze boots. And I'm like, okay, so I'm try these out. Then a poi class is happening that night after my class. And so they're teaching a class to teach people how to spin poi, which I don't know how to explain what poi is. It's it's kind of like when they're on fire, you spin them around you and
those the things on like chains or strings.
They're on
chains.
They're on like chains or strings, and like they're generally balls, but they can be LED lights or they can be fire. So they just started teaching this class at the school, and so apparently it's really popular. So everybody decided they were going to meet for this poi class in the gym where I was practicing. So where I was so happy that there was nobody but me and my class in there, and I was like, no problem, like being in my tiny shorts and fishnets. Then all of a sudden there's like everybody who is in the fucking like goes to school is there. Why are you all here? Go away. Like, so that was fun. That's my.
But did the boots work?
I think they work. It's weird having stuff on your feet when you're used to performing barefooted, because I do what I call a faux foot hang, because it's really more of a back balance, because I'm on my back on the hoop and I have one foot on the top and I take the other foot off, so it looks like I'm hanging from one foot, but really I'm balancing on my big ass. Okay. So yeah, which is a much better shelf than hanging from your foot. I have done I have done training to hang from my feet, and it's stupid. Why the fuck would I want to do that? Like, I did it when I was at the retreat because everybody else was doing it, and I will jump in with it, but like personal level, like I'm never gonna hang from my feet. Yeah. I'm not gonna be that kind of AGT performer, you know? Like, no, not that kind.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It sounds like comfortable, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hanging from a metal bar but dug into your foot.
Yeah. I don't like that.
So, which with the trapeze boots, it does, like, I do want to do some more, like, especially with my mini hoop, I want to do some hanging. I will do foot hanging on the mini because it's a lot easier on there. And that's because of physics, because the mini hoop has the radius, this looks like so much something like, because of the circumference is different, because it's a smaller circumference than the bigger hoop. It makes, I don't know, it's something to do with how gravity works and how you're hanging from it. So it's like it's easier to hang from the smaller hoop by your feet than it is from the bigger hoop. I know, is that weird?
Science.
So yeah, that's what I am up to, and that's coming up in like a week and a half. And
that's so soon. That's exciting.
I know, and of course it's one of those things that I had way too much time for. I really should have had less time to prepare because it was seemed too far off. Now I'm going to have to crash course it again, which is always the best.
It is. I mean,
well, of course I was like, oh, I'm going to practice my routine once a day until it's, time to go. I'm like, no, that's not been happening. What's also, my rig is outside and it's 100 degrees.
It's a little hot.
Yeah. And usually it's like, oh, I can go out at like 5 or 6 and it'll be fine. But right now it's not even okay to do that, really.
No, the sun doesn't even go down till like 9.
Yeah. So anyways, aerial times. That's my world. Diana's world is bands. My world is hanging by my feet. And this world of the War of the Worlds, and there's nothing in the boys' worlds. Like literally the new stuff is picking up from weeks ago. So nothing new there. So, but this War of the Worlds was season 13's episode 7. It first aired November 23rd, 2017, and was directed by podcast nemesis Richard Speight Jr. And no, he's not a nemesis. We love Richard Speight Jr. on this show. And he is a cast member. And, you know, this last season he directed Stuck in the Middle with You and Twigs and Twine and Tasha Baines. This was written by the duo Brad Buckner and Eugenie Ross Lemming. Last season they did a whole bunch of them, just to name a few. They did Family Feud, The British Invasion, and There's Something About Mary. So we start off with our recap, and it's Mary punching Lucifer and going to Apocalypse World. Asmodeus, the fourth prince of hell, is running hell. Asmodeus is really into Jack. Apocalypse World has a Michael who might meet Lucifer. Jack has an identity crisis and zapped everybody, and then he left.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we start. And we're going to start off in Apocalypse World.
And Lucifer's in, what is this called? It's a thing. What is it? It's, I don't know, some torture
cage
it's
thing. An Iron Maiden.
That's what, okay. That should know that. But
yeah.
So he's in an Iron Maiden and he's talking about God, and we get like the really, really pretty like montage of the cosmos and Earth and nature and all this stuff. And, you know, talks to us basically God's a narcissist, but he did a good job on creating this thing, kind of is what he's saying. And mankind, you know, there was a good idea basically, but then they were disappointed and God left. So anyways, so Michael's like reading his mind is what we figure out as he's monologuing all this, because it sounds awful nice for Lucifer to say about Earth and the world and people, even though it's kind of disappointing and talking shit about God, but he's also like kind of positive, and you're like, who is this Lucifer? But it's because Michael is reading his mind in the cage, and he now wants to go to this paradise that Lucifer left, which is our world. Well, the other world, I don't know, the world that they came from. I don't know. And he saw that he also was able to see that Lucifer's scared of being locked up. And so his intention is to leave Lucifer in agony forever, being locked up. That's his response. And so Lucifer, obviously, because he can't keep his fucking mouth shut, is going to talk shit, because that's what Lucifer does always. And then Michael does the Iron Maiden thingy where the spikes go in him, and he yells.
And he pushes that into him, and he screams, and he leaves him screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So we go from there to the bunker, and Dean has coffee for Sam, who's not found Jack about Jack, even though he put out an APB to every hunter he knows. I'm like, what did he say?
Right.
What
like
does this say? What are you saying that you're looking for? Are you like, I'm looking for a boy. He's like he's a little twinkish. He's about 18 and he's got some nice hair. Like, what are you saying to your hunter friends here, Sam?
His eyes glow and he can fling you.
Yeah.
It's not scary at all.
He may say father a lot. He's probably going to apologize. He may be naked.
Well, no, he's dressed now. He has clothes.
Yeah.
But yeah, super questionable. And so in the middle of this, we see, you know, Castiel's like, look, I've got a contact with the angels. I need to go talk to them, and no one can come with me, because this always goes so well when they break up and do that. But either way, so he's going to go while Sam and Dean are going to go look at a murder case, because there's 3 witches with slit throats.
Somehow they have figured out that 3 murders a couple of 100 miles apart have the same MO. And next to these bodies is a bunch of witch stuff. And yes, I mean, the witch stuff would probably make the papers, but I think this would, if that was the case, it would be a lot more invested in this. Like, everybody would be like, what the fuck? Like, this would be a new satanic panic.
Yes.
There would be like news people all over this shit, right? It wouldn't just be like in some random ass paper. Anyhow, so Dean's just like, I know these aren't hunter kills. They're more ritualistic. And the places were ransacked by someone who was looking for something.
Interesting. So we go to the throne room,
We go
Demon
to
HQ.
functioning hell, and Asmodeus is being creepy when a minion brings him news of the Jack.
Which is that there's no news. But also, the no news means also that the Winchesters don't know where he is either. So, now everybody knows that Jack is missing.
And they also said there is a hunter on their payroll that said the Winchesters are looking for Jack, and that's how they know. So there is a hunter out there who is a snitch.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool. So back in Apocalypse World, Lucifer is trying to negotiate with Michael to wail on Mary for a bit. That's fucking rude.
Where is Mary?
We don't see her at all. Anyways, we don't see her this whole episode.
We don't see her this whole episode.
So they're talking shit to each other, and basically it's confirmed that Lucifer's not God, but then he's like, but God is a paradox, blah blah blah. So he talks about that, and he's like, but you know what? I'm the real deal. I am everything humanity thinks I am and worse.
Yeah. But Michael is just set on going back to Earth, and he's going to take it over for himself. And they have been exploring the idea of interdimensional travel, including with their prophet of the Lord, who walks in but Kevin Tran.
What? Kevin's in this world? That's crazy. And apparently,
and so is Kevin.
Yeah. Sorry. But he's assembled tablets, and basically all he needs left to make this rift to travel between them is some Archangel grace. And he wants it from Michael. And Michael's like, nah, not giving you my grace. Let's go slit Lucifer's throat and take it from him.
So they go and they extract grace from Lucifer just by cutting this is a very easy way to get angel's grace, is you just cut a hole in their trachea and it just pops out. And then it goes into a little bottle and you can take it.
Yeah, that seems like a very too easy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right? It seems like you should have to do a little bit more to get this, but okay. So we're going to go to Clinton, and where they've traced this murders to, I guess.
Yeah. And apparently, Dean has been on the phone with Jody, so she knows what's going on. And Sam already has footage of where this victim was kidnapped in an alley before they got murdered. And who do they see in this footage, though? But a dude with a beard who looks an awful lot like Arthur Ketch.
What? But it can't be Ketch. Mom shot him in the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then this random ass woman with a scarf around her head approaches them, and she's like, I'm Daniela and I'm a witch. I know you don't like witches, but I need your help, and you help people in trouble.
So help me, please. Help me. And we go back to Apocalypse World, where Kevin is mixing up a spell, and Lucifer wants to know how poor little Kevin got mixed up with Michael. And Kevin explains that he's a prophet and he's meant to serve God, but since there isn't a God, he's just serving the next ranking deity, which is Michael. And Kevin is also just really confused that Lucifer is saying Michael is so bad since he's literally Satan. And Michael has promised to take him to Paradise World so he can meet hot women.
Oh, this is not our Kevin that we know, I don't think.
I think that Kevin has some issues.
Yes. And so Michael's there, and they're finishing the spell, and we get our golden line that appears in the room. And as it happens, Lucifer is able to use a distraction to escape and jump through the rift. That was a little too easy, but yes.
And Michael wants to know what just happened, and Kevin's just like, well, clearly science isn't perfect, and he's very excited about how the spell only allowed one person inside. Yeah. But what's going to happen is Lucifer is going to land face first on the middle of a street, and then there's a rude woman who starts in about getting those people off the street, and Lucifer is just not taking this, and he follows them. And he gets in front of them, and the rude lady gives him money, and he throws it away, and he snaps his fingers and says, I'm Lucifer! And nothing happens. And he has no wings, and she has
Oh.
he has no powers, and she tells him, honey, you're not Lucifer. My ex-husband is Lucifer. And she and her assistant walk away, and Lucifer is just going up the street, and he's trying unsuccessfully to activate his powers, and he's just like that at people, and it's really, really funny.
Nothing
and
happens.
it just looks like, oh yeah, I've seen
Crazy
this
guy.
person. Yeah, I've met you on the street before.
Yes.
But so we don't know but so Lucifer has no powers.
Yeah, which is wild. Is it because they took his grace? I don't know. Probably, but yes.
I think that is our main culprit.
Back in function, whatever the acting hell, whatever we're calling that, wherever Asmodeus is hanging out, he is now torturing the front desk clerk from the Stampede Motel.
This motel
Poor guy, this poor motherfucker.
He's so stupid.
Carl has no idea what is going on. He doesn't understand why they're asking about Jack, which this kid, and so finally they just kill him. And
so
it's really
one of his minions really happily also like is way too into stabbing this dude. She's like so into it, but then Asmodeus feels something and he falls down.
He chuckles. So Sam and Dean go with Daniela to her safe house, and she's like, look, yeah, the killer did have me, but I survived. I'm the only one. So check out these crazy fucking scars on my throat and chest that he marked me with a red hot knife to torture me. But she disabled him with a spell so she could get away. But what was he asking for?
He wanted to know where is Rowena McLeod. And this witch hunter is apparently searching for Rowena. And we're going to talk about another witch hunter or witch hunters searching for Scottish witches. I guess that's mixed work. So we're going to talk about witch prickers, and which is a fun thing to say.
So I was like, oh.
And it was a part of daily life in 17th century Scotland to fear witches. And why were people so afraid of witches then? Well, things weren't always that great, and people attributed bad things happening to witches' superhuman, mysterious, or extraordinary powers. And this was across all classes. Burdened with significant debt, the landowners frequently suspected that even their poorer tenants were turning to black magic to retaliate against how they were being treated. Witches also allegedly injured or caused the death of their neighbors, made them tremble or sweat, prevented people from reaching their destinations, kept crops from growing, and set barns on fire. Like women can't have hobbies. People at this time also just deeply believed that witches made pacts with the devil, had sex with him, renounced their baptism, and worshiped the devil in large groups with plans to subvert authority. They also believed that after you got in cahoots with the Dark Lord, your skin would be marked to forever show your alliance. The belief was so popular that a profession sprang up around finding witches with these marks. And they were called witch brooders. I don't know if it's broader or it's Brodders, and it's Scottish. So I'm thinking it's broader.
I think so.
But the easier thing to say is just witch pricker, and it's funnier. And so witch prickers claimed they could identify witch marks, even the invisible ones, because you couldn't, the devil sometimes marked things so you couldn't see them. And they could identify them by pricking the body. Hence, witch pricker. The needle was like a hefty crochet hook, though. It wasn't like a sewing needle. It was like a giant ass fucking pin. And the accused were stripped and shaved to find any possible marks. Often the mark was hidden in an area like the armpits, under the eyelids, or in private areas and cavities. But so if you get stabbed with the pen, right? So if you get pricked and it doesn't bleed and you don't have any pain, then you know it's a witch's mark, and that's a sign of the devil. I do like this one theory that there were actual witches' marks that were tattoos given during pagan religious ceremonies. And there's very little documentation of tattooing in Western Europe before the 18th century, but it is well known that the Britain, the British people, before the early Christians in Britain really like giving tattoos. So and it was so popular that they had to pass a law banning it in 787 AD. So as cool as a reason for that, I don't think that's the reason that people, had marks on them. But it'd be really neat if they were actually finding like witches' marks. No. So the Reverend John Bell described the mark as the witch mark is sometimes like a blue spot or a little tata, or reed spots like flea biting. Sometimes also the flesh is sunk in and hollow, and this is put in secret places, as among the hair of the head or eyebrows, within the lips, under the armpits, and even in the most secret parts of the body. I myself have seen it in the body of a confessing witch, like a little powder mark of a bleh color. I think that's blue. Somewhat hard and withal insensible, so as it did not bleed when I pricked it. The Reverend Robert Kirk said, a spot that I have seen as a small mole, horny and brown colored, throw witch mark when a large brass pin was thrust, both in buttock, nose, and roof of mouth, till it bowed and became crooked. The witches, both men and women, neither felt a pain, nor did bleed, nor knew the precise time when this was doing to them, their eyes only being covered. So that reverend basically saying that they had a mole and they would poke it and it wouldn't bleed because it was a mole. Obviously, a number of reasons could explain why a person could be insensitive to the witch pricker's needle, including dead nerves, poor circulation, arthritis, strokes, vitamin deficiencies, syphilis. Some body attachments, just like warts and old scars, are insensitive to pain.
Right.
Some victims may have just been trying to get it over with, and the prickers could have just been cheating from the start. Sir Walter Scott, in his letters on demonology and witchcraft, wrote, there is room also to believe that the professed prickers used a pen, the point or lower part of which was on being pressed down, sheathed in the upper, which was hollow for the purpose, and that which appeared to enter the body did not pierce it at all. So basically, stab you, it's a fake knife.
Yeah. Like the trick knives with the little
like the
spring in
trick
it when
knives.
you're a kid.
Yep, exactly. All right, so this is from I just like the title of this article, The Professional Picker and His Test for Witchcraft. And this is a 1922 article in the Scottish Historical Review. And this guy said, around 1650, Newcastle, England sent magistrates to Scotland to find a witch pricker. They brought one back, telling him he could get 20 shillings for each witch which he condemned, and he could have free passage back and forth. Then once he arrived, a man with a bell rode through town, crying that all women who had complaints lodged against them for witchcraft should be sent for and tried by the pricker. 30 women were brought into the town hall. They were stripped in front of everyone and had pens thrust into their bodies. The pricker found 27 women guilty.
Holy moly, that's a big ratio.
The witch pricker told Lieutenant Colonel Hobson that he could tell if women were witches just by looking at them. When Hobson said of a woman that she was personable and good-like and clearly not a witch, the pricker disagreed and said she needed to be tried. He pulled her clothes over her head, then he jammed a pin into her thigh and yelled at her and wanting to know why she did not bleed. The accused was subsequently allowed to be tested again, and this time the pin gushed blood, and the pricker declared her not to be a child of the devil. He collected his money for the other 27 women he had doomed and traveled to Northumberland to repeat the trials. While there, he was nearly arrested for fraud and fled back to Scotland, where he was apprehended. He was condemned to the gallows, and there he confessed to being responsible for the death of 220 women in England and Scotland for the price of 20 shillings a person.
God.
Yeah. Scotland picked up the pace in their witch hunting in the years 1661 to 1662, which would become known as the Great Scottish Witch Hunt. It's estimated that 600 people were accused of sorcery and various acts of witchcraft in Scotland during this time. Brian Levick in the Journal of British Studies noted that many historians attributed this case to the end of English rule in Scotland. So while England was in charge, the English judges did not like to execute suspected witches. Most of them just thought it was backwoods country-ish other things,
Mhm.
and beyond them or whatever. So they just weren't being executed. So when Scotland took control of the judicial system back, then they had a quote unquote backlog of suspected witches that had to be put on trial. Between 1653 and 1657, there were only 12 executions. I would say only, but only 12 executions of witches. And then during 1658 and 1659, it started going up. 1659 saw 38 executions in that year alone. So it went from being, like 5 years we had 12, and now we have 38 in just 1 year.
That's a big jump.
It's a big jump. The clergy have also been blamed for the witch hunt, and they definitely played an active role. In the Kirk sessions, ministers and lay elders collaborated to perform the primary investigations of those detained for witchcraft. They facilitated searches for the Devil's Marked and gathered witness depositions prior to transferring these cases to the relevant secular authorities. So the clergy would often use torture to get confessions out of the witches, and then they would have to go on trial within the regular court, right? That
Right.
it wasn't like an Inquisition thing, but the church was like really up in this business, and so in 1661, the justiciary, the regular court, the secular court, was acquitting a witch, and the church already had a second set of charges ready to go to prevent her release because there was like, no, she's a witch. On the other hand, the church was also taking the complaints from those who felt slandered for being called witches. Popular slander involving witchcraft, often constructed in pairs, included witch bitch, witch thief, ill favor glide, which means squint-eyed witch, and witch carling, essentially meaning an old witchy woman. Not part of his hunt time, but had to include. In 1628, Margaret Boyd complained to the Canongate Kirk section that Bessie Mason had called her a notorious witch, though in her defense, Mason explained that Boyd had called her a notorious whore first.
That's amazing.
At Newton, Midlothian, the church held a session in which they warned the witch pricker John Nielsen 3 times for calling Margaret Allen a bitch and a witch. They also said that nobody could slander a child of a person accused of witchcraft, and that applied to their friends as well. So they put a rule in saying, you've got to stop like going after these kids of these witches. This is bad enough.
Yeah, the witch thing's bad enough. Please don't go after their children also.
Yeah, or their friends.
Yeah.
So 84% of the accused were adult females. Some, such as Agnes Johnston and Janet Cock, were midwives or healers. Widows such as Janet Lyle, Beatrix Leslie, Christian Patterson, and Margaret Porteous were particularly vulnerable to accusations of sorcery due to their advanced age and impoverished circumstances. Their eccentricities may have annoyed their neighbors to make them accuse them of being witches, which, I mean,
So
you gotta be
ladies.
pretty annoying. Yeah, it is weird old ladies, right? Helen Cass is said to have been sexually promiscuous with English soldiers. Christian Wilson cursed on the Sabbath, and Helen Conkner fornicated with John Weissard. Oh, Helen. There are also neighborhood feuds that inspired some of the accusations. So one of them sought revenge for getting her hens killed. Another one got into a fight because someone had over the raking of dung. Margaret Allen conceived malice and hatred toward Thomas Hoy because he had taken some of her husband's land. Jeez, why was she pissed? But most of the accused aligned with just that kind of traditional stereotype of an old woman. And the confessions taken by various means, again, kind of ran the gamut. I like this one. Mary Lamont confessed that she, Ketty Scott, and Margaret Holm came to Alan Orr's house in the likeness of cats and followed his wife into the chamber where they took a herring out of a barrel, took a bite, and left it. Then the wife ate the fish and she died. Margaret McMillian confessed that around Candlemas, she went out to a field and there was a little brown dog that enticed her to follow. Then the dog appeared in the likeness of an attractive young man and wanted her to go with him and gripped her around her left haunch, which hurt, and then the man went away in green smoke. On a sadder note, one said she knew that since she had been defamed as a witch, she was gonna starve, for no person would give her food and lodging, and the men in town had beat her, therefore she just wanted to die. And that was why she was confessing.
Whoa.
Another one said that she was afraid the devil would challenge his right to her after she was said to be his servant, and that he would haunt her, as a minister said when he was telling her to confess, and therefore she wanted to die. Which is like, so she got this poor, like confused old lady had some man being like, the devil's going to haunt you if you don't confess. And now she's afraid that it's going to happen. It's so sad.
That's sad.
All right, last note. So this finally ends on when the council issues a proclamation acknowledging that numerous suspected witches had been arrested, rushed to prison, pricked, tortured, and mistreated, leading to the wrongful suffering of many innocent individuals. To address this, the council decreed that arrests of suspected witches required a specific warrant from the council, the justice general or his deputies, or local officials such as the sheriff, justices of the peace, steward, blah, blah, blah. So it banned, furthermore, though, it banned the practices of pricking and torture unless explicitly authorized by the council. So not altogether, and outlawed any other illicit methods for extracting confessions.
But they didn't want to. They didn't want to ban it completely. They still had to have it out.
They wanted to slow the roll because things were getting out of control. And these witch prickers had made things so much worse because they were just saying, we know these people can identify witches, we prick them, she's a witch, she's a witch, she's a witch. Okay. So demonstrating its commitment to the new policy, the council also jailed the famous witch prickers John Kincaid and John Dixon for their actions. John Kincaid was released on a large bond. He basically disappears. John Dixon's jailing, however, was slightly more interesting. So John, who'd had a contract up north where he was on retainer for 6 shillings a day, plus expenses, plus £6 for every witch he caught. And he was very rough. Like his procedure involved, he stripped the witch naked, rubbed the body with the palms vigorously to pull up the marks. And they, during one of the witch hunts, this was so savage that a couple of people died just from the test, not even from going there, right? So, but one day he pricked a former messenger to the Privy Council, and that messenger wrote to Edinburgh complaining that John was pricking without the right license. John absconded to the Highlands, where a clan battle was underway as the Chisholms accused the MacLeans of sorcery. The chief of the MacLeans also reached out to Edinburgh. John was taken to the toll booth of Edinburgh, where it was discovered that John was a woman. Her real John Dixon was actually a woman masquerading as a man because she really wanted to catch witches. Her name was Christian Cattle, and she wanted the court to know that she didn't need her little witch pricker to know what a witch was. She could tell because she could see upside down crucifixes in the eyes of women who were witches. She was put on trial, not for being a witch pricker, but for having the audacity to wear pants. She was sent off to Barbados, that was her.
I forget that's a punishment.
Yeah, so she was sent off to the colonies as a punishment. The day she sailed away, though, 2 of the women that she pricked, Isabel Eldora and Isabel Simpson, were still burned to death. Even though, they're clearly this. Not only is she not, she's not a band. So clearly she couldn't know what she was talking about. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so over the course of the late 16th, 17th, and early 18th century, just under 4,000 women in Scotland were tried as witches, of whom 2,558 were executed. Pricks. So that's what the witch hunters of the 16th century were doing when they were looking for Scottish witches. Much like this man was looking for Rowena. And everyone is telling him Rowena is dead. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't want to hear it.
He does not want to hear it. And Daniela does acknowledge that is him from a picture and that he had a British accent. So we know it is Ketch. So now they're going to use her as bait. Because of course they are. That's what they're going to do.
They are.
At the safe house. And so she is pretending to do a spell at the table or doing a spell. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of noises. And it's a gas canister. Tear gas canister gets dropped down the chimney. I'm like, damn. And then Ketch, this man that looks like Ketch has busted with a gas mask and an automatic rifle and just starts blasting the room.
He just starts spraying bullets. It's
kind of wild. It's so
what
wild.
The fuck? Are these supposed to be witch killing bullets too? Are they just regular bullets? What's coming on here? But Dean comes out and shoots him in the neck with a dart.
Yeah. So, and while Sam goes and makes sure Daniela is okay from passing out from the tear gas. But anyway, so they do pull the mask off. Does appear to be Ketch with a beard. By the way, he does not look great with a beard.
He does not look, no, he is
Does
not
not
good
wear a
with a
beard
beard.
well.
No.
No. And now Dean has clearly beaten the shit out of him a little while later and now wants to ask him a bunch of questions.
And it's worse too. That makes the beard also look worse. Because his face is just super gross.
Swollen. It's just not good. Look. But they're like, they want to question him. And their first question is, why aren't you dead? And he's like, why should I be? And so we have this whole back and forth where basically he's getting beat up and they're going back and forth. And he's like, oh, you've just confused me with my brother, Arthur. I'm his twin, Alexander.
And Dean's just like, do I look stupid to you? And he's like, is this a trick question? And then Dean punches him in the face.
Yeah. And so Sam's like, are you seriously going with the evil twin thing? So, and he's like, in Ketch, Alexander has some story about how he left their school because he didn't want to join British Men of Letters, and that Arthur was ashamed of him and tried to make up for his failure, and he hid and killed monsters for a fee. Like he's a mercenary hunter, basically, is his case, but he's killing the witches pro bono. And he just wants to kill Rowena because she's a witch. That's the only reason he's looking for her. No big.
Yep, no story behind it. That's it. That's the only reason he wants her. And so we're like, And
super sus.
Super suspicious. And Sam has found some evidence corroborating Alexander's existence, but Dean ain't buying it.
Not at all. Not at all. And they explain to Arthur why they hate they explain to Alexander, quote unquote, why they hate Arthur. And he's like, no, my brother was loyal to a fault. He was just a company man. Ugh. And then, yeah, it's just, and he's like, oh, I think that Arthur would express some regret if he was here.
For some of the things that he did to your family. What the fuck? Oh, God. I don't care who you are. I hate you. Gross. And so then we're going to go to our portal to heaven. And Cass is there with Duma.
Yeah. And she's like, no, we don't have that Nephilim. We don't have Jack. By the way, he wouldn't be imprisoned if we did, because we need to put him to work because angels are going extinct. What?
Yeah, so there's this whole new thing that's happening now. So now angels are going extinct, and they need a powerful force to make more of them, and Jack could be that force. But they also don't plan on asking him, which I'm like, how do you intend to force him to do that?
They enslave and experiment. Anyways, it's so weird. But it doesn't matter because Duma has turned on Cass, and she has ratted out that that they were meeting, and she's like, nope, you know what, you could be good leverage for us to get Jack, so you're gonna work with us now. And he's like, absolutely fucking not. So we have a fight.
Yeah, because more angels have showed up
tonight.
Yeah, it's all right. And Duma gets Cass by the throat when Lucifer shows up and tells her to drop the blade. He was looking for his angel, but I don't know. He doesn't have any powers, but he has found them. And so Lucifer threatens her. He bows up. He flashes his eyes, does a little, and the angels flee. And then Lucifer starts coughing.
Yeah, from the exertion of just flashing his eyes red. So we know he has a little bit of power. They want us to know, because remember a minute ago he had no power. So now he's got a little flash of power, but it's really, really exhausts him.
Okay. Yeah. And Cass wants to know what he's doing in this world, and Lucifer wants to know what Cass is doing alive.
Yeah. And so Lucifer wants to talk, and he doesn't want to argue about Jack custody right now. He's got a bigger situation, and they're all going to die. So they go to a bar, and Lucifer is telling Castiel all about Apocalypse World and how it's all fucked up because of Michael, and it's all Michael's fault. And Castiel's like questioning all of this, but Lucifer's like, no, we have to save the world, man. We have to save the world. And they apparently need to get Jack to do this. And he thinks that Castiel can convince Jack to help. And then they could take on Michael together.
And this Michael is not the Michael that they knew. This one's much more powerful, and he is on a mission to come to Earth. And Lucifer, and this is where his grace is depleted, but he just needs time. So this is where we kind of get the idea that's why his powers are draining.
Yeah. And so, but basically he's like, they've got, there's Michael and meth-head Kevin, as he calls him.
Meth-head Kevin Tran.
Poor Kevin Tran. And
it would explain why he was talking so fast.
Right. But with God being gone, it's just them. And Cass like, yeah, I should run this by Sam and Dean. I think I really should. And Lucifer refers to them as second guessing and whiny. And they would just want to put him back in his cage. And that's true.
Fact. It is true. And Lucifer wants to know how he's been hiding Jack so well. And Cass is deflecting all this and is like, your son's name is Jack. Call him Jack. And Lucifer wants to know if Jack is awesome and why can't he detect him? And then Lucifer finally figures out that Cass doesn't know where Jack is.
Yeah. I do like that Castiel tells him that he favors his mother. But all right. So Dean gets a call on his cell to his fake FBI agent phone, and the manager of the Stampede Motel he's notified that the front desk clerk is missing, and they went missing right after someone showed up asking questions about Jack. So they know that the evil Colonel Sanders is on the trail.
Yep. Then Ketch is eating a sandwich that Dean is annoyed about, but Sam's let him out because Sam has let him out of the armory. But he's like, he's in chains. He's fine.
And he hasn't used the bathroom or eaten.
And then Ketch said his brother must have behaved badly and your mother killed him. And then he asks how Mary is, and Dean gets weirded out and asks Sam to put him back. And we're all kind of like, wait a minute. The way you just asked about Mary there, that's
creepy.
That's a creepy thing. I know someone else who was creepy.
Mm-hmm. So then Dean calls Castiel and he's like, look, we need to find Jack fast. And we hear Castiel's like, hey, I'm things are happening, really interesting things are happening. But Lucifer interrupts and Castiel panic lies and gets off the phone.
Yeah, well, Lucifer hangs up the phone, hangs the phone on Dean. And Sam's like, well, let's track Cass's phone. And Alexander / Ketch wants to come. And Dean's like, no, we're just going to leave you locked up in the bunker alone. Which I don't know, which is the better idea.
That's true. I don't know either. So they're going to drive to Channing, Oklahoma. And while they're doing that, Lucifer is getting all caught up on Jack from Castiel. And his irritated the Winchesters were babysitting and lost him, and now they are trying to they're trying to find him. And Cass is like, yeah, sorry, but they've been doing a really good job to educate him and all of that kind of stuff. So we're figuring it out and channel his power. But we have Thunder and we have Asmodeus because he has to make an entrance. Like, he can't just stroll in, obviously.
Yep. And he comes in and he does not want to give up his seat to the throne. He likes where he's at and he thinks that Hell is doing really just fine.
Yeah. And he has figured out there's like some power issues with Lucifer. So he's just going to basically kill everybody in the bar and poof, kill everybody in the bar. And now he wants to basically take Castiel and Lucifer with him. He's going to fling them and take them.
Well, and first he flicks him with devil horns, which I thought was cute. So he flicks him with devil horns, and then Baby pulls up outside, and now the bar is very dark. And I think this is funny. So they go inside and the chairs are all knocked over and everyone is gone except the demons that are hiding. So are like the demons like, psh, Winchesters are coming. Get behind the bar.
It's like a surprise party.
Like, what was this plan here, guys? So I don't know. So they jump out from where they're hiding, like, ah! And then they have a fight.
They do. And then Sam's about to get fucking killed though by a demon, but who's there but Alexander Ketch, and he helps them fight and kill the demons. But then they're like, wait, how did you get out of the bunker? What the fuck? and he basically they didn't do the proper cavity search on him, is what he
God,
says.
ew.
What?
Oh my God. So he had something shoved up somewhere. And so he got a lockpick out of his ass, and then he stole weapons and a bike, and Bob's your uncle. Here he is. Dean pulls a gun on him and calls him Arthur because he knows how Ketch fights. And also, he saw that gross look on his face when he asked about his mom.
Yeah.
You fucked my mom!
Oh, and he's like, yeah, all of it's true except for you're right. No, I told you the truth about everything except for the twin. Ha ha ha, you're right. Ah. Anyways, and so since he's currently separated from the British men of letters, he has to lay low because he would be killed for desertion. So he's been working as a paid hunter under this fake name, and he's looking for the witch Rowena because she has a charm in her body that brings her back to life and did the same thing for him when he allowed her to escape. Ooh. But it needs recharged, and so he is unconvinced that she is currently dead, so he must find her. And then Dean's like, but what the hell? Why you didn't have to come here? And he's like, could I be one of the good guys?
No.
Dean's nah.
No. You're not. You're a sociopath. You're a psychopath. I don't know which one. You're one of them. And so Dean's just like, he's gonna kill him. And he's like, all right, so poof, and he flashbangs his way out of there. And
pop smoke, literally.
And he escapes on the motorcycle he stole.
Yeah. So Sam and Dean are driving because they're still looking for Cass. Remember, they were following his phone, and they're like, I could call Cass. And they're like, hey, we ran into a bunch of demons, and we have Cass's voice, but it's not Cass, it's Asmodeus. No.
Which is gross. It's gross and creepy when that's coming. Like, I don't like it when he throws his voice like that. It's just weird. I don't like it because I don't like evil Colonel Sanders. But so he has locked up Lucifer and Cass because they might be useful.
Yeah, and he's going to drink him a julep while he says in Castiel's voice that he's following an interesting lead, and he'll film him when he knows more, and hangs up.
Yeah. And so he's like, if Michael is coming, we're probably going to need that Nephilim. And who shows up but Ketch?
Yeah, so now Ketch is going to fucking help Asmodeus. What the
Of course he's working for Asmodeus. Of course.
And scene.
Yeah, and that's so. Before we get to our final wrap-ups, are there any demons to talk about?
Yeah, we've got a few folks here, actually. So Daniela was played by Farrah Aviva. She's been in episodes of Bates Motel, The Magicians, iZombie, Unreal, and a lot of Hallmark and Christmas TV movies. Duma was played by Erica Sarah, and she's been in Dead Like Me, The 4400, Smallville, iZombie, Lucifer, Deadly Class a few times, The Good Doctor, and Nancy Drew a handful of times. She's the goth vixen wannabe in Blade Trinity. She's Trini's mom in the 2017 Power Rangers movie, and a reoccurring character called ALIE and Dr. Franco in the TV series The 100. Our lead angel, so the other fighting angel, was played by Caitlin Stryker. She's been in episodes of Falling Skies, Lucifer, Flash, iZombie, Good Doctor, Clarice, Day of the Dead, the TV series, Allegiance, and Murder in a Small Town. Our pedestrian, which is our woman that refers to her ex-husband as Lucifer, was played by Serafina Joaquim. She's been in episodes of Party of Five, The X-Files, iZombie. Once upon a time, she was a female doctor in the movie Disturbing Behavior, Lane in the movie White Chicks, and a date in the movie Martian Child. Our demon with attitude at the beginning is played by Aiden Moreno. He's been in episodes of Trailer Park Boys Jail and Winona Earp. He's also Rick in the series Heartland as a recurring character. And Carl, our poor motel clerk, was played by Shane Walker. He's been in episodes of iZombie, Flash, Altered Carbon, Nancy Drew, Batwoman, Good Doctor, So Help Me Todd, Fire Country, Allegiance, Tracker, and The Last of Us. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I hate that Ketch is back.
Yes.
How come his Ketch is back? You could have
Thumbs
stayed
down.
dead. I mean, I know this is supernatural and no one stays dead. Stay just because you get burned don't mean you stay dead. But of the characters to bring back, I'm like, you got to bring back this one. Like, he gross.
Yeah.
He gross.
Did they burn him? Did they not burn him? What
They
happened?
didn't burn him. I
Right.
don't think. I don't know.
We saw the bullet in his head, and I think that was it. We just thought he was done.
I think he dumped, like, well,
Oh, they say they dumped him in the water. Like, why would you do that?
Is that what they did with him? I don't remember. I thought they burned everything down. But anyways,
I said something about like they dumped him somewhere. I don't know. It was real weird.
I don't know. Yeah, well, because he couldn't have been burned because he wouldn't have been able to. But then how is Rowena is also burned, and we don't know what's going on with Rowena. We haven't seen her, so I don't know. But I mean, it's possible because he's looking for her. So maybe Rowena McLeod isn't dead. Maybe. I mean, that's maybe. I mean, that's probably the best thing that could possibly come out of this episode. I mean, so I think it's weird. Like the fact that no Mary in Apocalypse World, I thought was weird.
Agreed. I think they should at least seen her in the background, like something. We didn't even see her in the room. And then I am amused by meth-head Kevin Tran.
I am. Okay, we did bring back a cat. Yeah, that character being brought back is amazing because I love Kevin, and even him as meth-head is still amazing.
Yes. I think that it's interesting. So I think I'm a little parallel kind of. So we've got Arthur Ketch pretending like he wants to be a good guy now. And then I'm not going to say that Lucifer's trying to be a good guy, but suddenly Lucifer wants to save the world. So it's almost like a weird parallel of like bad guys pretending kind of like they might want to do good. I don't know. It's kind of a weird.
Yeah, but was Ketch the whole time doing a double cross anyways because he was working for Asmodeus.
That's true. So he was never a good guy, probably.
Probably not.
Ugh. He was probably the hunter.
Yeah, probably one of the things the hunters that got sent after looking after the Jack and after,
He's the snitch. It just makes
I don't think he's not the snitch. There's another hunter snitch because that Sam was calling the hunters and the hunter has the snitch that says that's her Jack. Yeah, Ketch wasn't out yet. So no, there's someone else there's another hunter that is on the take. And I'm not surprised. There's some skeevy hunters.
Fair. We've seen them.
So
I don't know. It was an exciting episode. I'll give it that. Definitely continue the storyline. No Jack, no Mary.
No Jack, no Mary. What happened to the witch?
I guess like Sam
we just forgot
sure she was okay and just, left her
I'm
alone.
glad they didn't take her out.
Yeah. Oh, we hope not.
We hope not. Hopefully they let her go. No aftercare for her, obviously.
No.
But yeah, it's interesting that D I don't see the leeway for witches.
Yeah, they seem to have a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of room for you. Like you may not be totally evil, even though you may eat a baby or two. It's just a baby.
Do witches eat babies?
Delicious babies. What else do you think witches eat? Girls gonna eat. All right,
toad stew.
Toad stew. All right, I think that's enough for now. All right,
Great.
Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.